In a world where a real metal warhammer washes up on the Japanese shore. Seriously, what do they mean by that? Can that happen? I mean, that can't happen, right? Hello, and welcome back to Binging Last Season, where sometimes I skip a week without explaining myself. Shut up. This week I checked out Ruri no Hoseki, or a name I'm not saying in English because it gives me flashbacks to when I got bullied for my speech impediment. It's the latest showing from Studio Bind, the guys who adapted Mushoku Tensei and more recently Flower and Asura, which is an anime that I covered in a video and really enjoyed. And on top of that, it seemed like for once Studio Bind was making an anime that wasn't depressing, so I was really excited for it. And that was my bad. That was my oopsie. I shouldn't have gotten excited. I should have known better, and that was my mistake. Now I know what you're thinking. Celery, you sound awfully pessimistic right now, and well, I'm looking at the screen and have at least one functional eye. I can tell that this anime looks amazing. What's your problem? We'll get to that. But first we gotta talk about the characters. The main two are Blondie and Jesus! Sorry. I'll be right back. He's jacking off. Her name is Nagi, by the way. She's the thickest woman on planet Earth, and she goes around with the most suspiciously childish high schooler on planet Earth collecting rocks. No, seriously, that's it. Its secondary title is Introduction to Mineralogy, and honestly, it kind of functions as educational content, which you could call a good thing, but personally, I would say it's a detriment, since half the time they would explain things, it went right over my head. I looked as confused as Blondie does on screen, because they went into way too much detail. I mean, look at the mid-cards between the sections, like the first half and the second half of the show. I did not read a single one of these, because why would I? But a lot of the explanations were easy enough to follow as they were out looking for rocks with one of the most absurd rates of success in human history. I mean, every single time they went out looking for something, they either found it or found way more than they bargained for. And look, I get it. It's not that entertaining if it doesn't look good. You want to show off how well you can draw rocks, and a lot of these scenes are stunningly beautiful. So I understand why they had a higher rate of success than you might expect if you went out doing the same thing. And they didn't waste any time doing anything else. We didn't get any BS scenes of Blondie's high school life or Nagi's college life or their friends or family or some sort of personal crisis going on. They just look for rocks for the most part, or talk about how to look for rocks. And at first, I thought that was a good thing. I said, good, I don't want to waste any time focusing on pointless stuff. I want to get to the good part. But I was super wrong about that in the end. I was about halfway through this show when I realized that I didn't care about anything that was going on. I'm just watching the most beautifully drawn and animated scenes of two people that I don't care about looking for rocks, and that's not really compelling. I found myself asking stupid questions, like, hey, is Blondie even still in high school? Because all I ever see is her functioning as a research assistant in this geology lab. And the only things to keep you hooked to the show are a few scenes that are basically taken straight out of a fantasy anime, and the thickest woman on planet Earth. I mean, seriously, does Japan even make them like that? But even that started to get excessive. Like, look at her posture here. Look at the way she is standing. Just think about this for a second. Look at the gap between her arm and her back. Imagine how her spine is bending in this moment. She shouldn't look like that. It would be so uncomfortable. Or she has like the weirdest inverse scoliosis you've ever heard of. Okay, is this what it takes? Is this what we're into? Is this why we watch anime? What is this? It just lacks substance. Which is funny because it's about rocks. I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it's pretty, but even that's a little high. I couldn't see myself coming back to this show unless I skipped to all the scenes where they find the massive deposits, because there's really nothing else here. Is it worth watching? Maybe, if you just want to see really great visuals, but apart from that, if you want to see Studio Bind's best work, just go watch Flower and Asura. That's it for this week's video. Next week is probably going to be me sucking off the 7th prince. But wait a minute. No, stop.